Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Watch, as well as on Facebook for a detailed look at your Colorado weather forecast. By the way, if you do have any comments or questions, just feel free to type them in below, and I'll get to some of those, the nice ones, as soon as we're done here. But thanks again for joining us. So let's start things out by taking a look at what we've got here as we head over the kind of next few days, and starting with, of course, well, today, where those temperatures will be on the nice side. It's already on up into the 40s throughout most of the Denver metro area statewide. We're generally speaking running about 5 to 10 degrees above where we should be for this time of year. We'll get those temperatures just on up over the 50-degree mark, but you will notice the wind. At times it will be a bit blustery for us as we head over the next couple of hours. Look at those gusts there in Denver, 32 miles an hour. You head just west of town. You're closer to about 50 to 60 miles an hour, and that's the way it's going to stay as we head over the next few hours. So just something to obviously keep in mind is that those winds will be on the strong side for us here as we head through the remainder of your afternoon into the early evening time frame. And also, of course, we'll be watching that possibility for some of those winds to perhaps top 60 miles an hour in a few spots as we head later on through the kind of early to mid part of the afternoon. So long story short, bit blustery, not wind advisory levels, not high wind warning levels, but strong enough that you will notice it out this way. Those winds in the Denver area back on off through the mid to late part of the afternoon, probably between about 3 and 6. The foothills, though, you can probably see those gusts still hanging strong through the overnight. Those winds out there die back down early tomorrow morning. Temperatures for us already in the 40s into Denver, 50s for us into the southeastern corner of the state. And by the way, for friends on up into Greeley, let's actually zip on in there in Greeley. Look at that. So Greeley, Longmont, Fort Morgan, and I've been talking about this for a little while now, is that those temperatures in that little kind of north-central corridor here of Colorado have been especially cold. We've had this kind of cold pocket. If you're watching me from Greeley, from Fort Morgan, first of all, hello. Fort Lupton, Longmont, you know it's been a bit colder than the rest of the Denver area because you're a little bit in a valley out that way. So that colder, denser, heavier air just kind of sinks down a little bit, and it's been hard to mix out. But those winds today are actually helping mix out some of that colder air in some of those colder valleys. So that's why Greeley on the warm side today, certainly compared to where you've been. Notice that 24-hour temperature change. Greeley, you can see that differential again. That is the winds mixing in some of that warmer air and making a difference there at the surface. Meantime, mountains, basically statewide, I should say, we are running about 5 to 10 degrees warmer, generally speaking, than we were this time yesterday. So that'll get those temperatures on up into the low 50s for us here in Denver, a few 40s for some of those cold spots, and the mountains 20s and 30s, generally speaking. So certainly a bluebird day if you're lucky enough on this Tuesday to be heading on up to catch the slopes. All right, now as we head into tomorrow, that's where the slopes actually get some needed refreshment in terms of some snowfall. We are starting to need the snow in the mountains, dropping below 100% of our season date snowpack for the first time since late December. So we are again needing that snow in the mountains. We get a little bit. This is by no means, don't exactly hold your breath on this one, but we do get some snow into the mountains. Again, not a big deal generally speaking, but we get enough snow that you'll probably notice if you're skiing up into Winter Park, Steamboat Springs, those areas you will get some of that, again, notable snow as we head over the course of the next couple of hours. And then, I should say, into really mainly tomorrow is when we see that snow there into the northern mountains. If you're heading up to Steamboat Springs or Winter Park, that's where that snow will be the heaviest. Then overnight, Wednesday into early Thursday, there's a chance for a few of those snow showers to make their way out onto the eastern plains. Again, don't hold your breath. I don't think Denver we see much of anything, but the Palmer Divide and the eastern plains will have the best chance for seeing some of that snow in and around the Denver area. Then the rest of Thursday looking calm before our next system arrives on Friday. Now, here's a look at that snowfall forecast statewide as we head through tomorrow night. Yeah, exactly, not exactly a barn burner of a snowstorm. I do think that our model's underdoing it a little bit for Steamboat and Winter Park, where I do think we end up with an inch or two at least of accumulation up that way, maybe 2 or 3 inches in a few spots in some of those northern-facing mountains there north of I-70. I think we even do get some snow down into the I-70 mountains, Winter Park, on down into Vail, Keystone, Breck, A-Base, and those areas should get, again, an inch or two of snow. Again, we do need it out that way. We should get at least a little bit into that area. Now, Denver area, I do think our model's probably underdoing it a little bit here. I do think the Palmer Divide gets a little bit of rain or snow. Denver, probably nothing for us here in town. If we do, it's going to be, if we do get something, it's probably going to be too warm for it to be sticking if it does snow. It's probably going to be above freezing for us as we head through tomorrow night and early Thursday morning. So long story short, not a big deal for us along the eastern plains. A few spots may end up with the dusting to perhaps an inch at the kind of tippy tops there of the Palmer Divide and the southwestern foothills, but most of us end up with nothing. Now here in Denver, we picked up actually 21.7 inches worth of season-to-date snowfall. That is actually above where we were this time last year, which is unbelievable, just about unbelievable, considering, you might remember this, that we started with an historically late start to our snow season here in Denver. We didn't get measurable snow until December the 10th. We only had 0.3 of an inch of snow in Denver until New Year's Eve. So we had basically no snow through the fall and the early part of the winter. And now, the last 4 or 5 weeks, we've had a lot of it, and that has made a big difference, and that's going to help on out. Now, we're not going to get probably much more in the way of snow. Again, tomorrow night, don't look for much here in Denver, if anything. Then Thursday, we warm back up briefly before a bit more of an interesting system on Friday night into your Saturday. That one at this point could bring an inch or two of snow into Denver. We'll have to wait and see on that one. The models are still disagreeing a bit, but it could bring some impacts after dark on Friday. Then the weekend warms back up. Middle of next week looks interesting. It looks interesting. I'll leave it at that, but it does look interesting. So that's what I would say about the overall forecast at this point. Again, not a ton of highlights right now, but we do have the possibility for some of that snow at the middle part of next week. So that does it for, again, a general look at the forecast. If you've got any comments or questions, feel free to write them in. I'm not seeing any right now at this point. Facebook has a really weird mechanism for showing these, so maybe, sorry, I sound like a grumpy old man here by saying that, but I promise you that there are, if you type those in, I will try and get to those if possible, but right now I'm not seeing any comments or questions, so I'll leave it at that then, because again, the forecast right now is fairly calm as we head through the next few days. It does look like the middle of next week could be a bit more interesting, so we'll keep an eye on that. Again, I'm not going to talk up next Wednesday yet, but it does look interesting. That'll do it for now. I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Have a great rest of your day. And by the way, Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin is in at 3, 4, 5, as well as at 9 and 10 tonight on the 9 News family of networks. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
I prefer you kind of like your presence on that anyways. So, but I just